I've made this video before, but Forsaken has added 2 new characters with milestone skins and reworked a ton of old ones, so I thought I might as well remake it. Every character, except for Noli, has 4 different milestone skins, which are unlocked as you level them up. These are a great way to flex, but personally speaking, I'd say some are definitely better than others. In this video, I'll be showcasing every single milestone skin, including their custom sound effects and chase themes, and then give my personal ranking of how good they are. So hit that like button and subscribe, and let's get started. Now I'm gonna start off with the survivors and then move on to the killers, so if you only care about the killers, skip to this part of the video. Also, big shout out to Bro Gamer for helping me showcase these skins. Make sure to check them out. With that said, our first survivor is Noob. At milestone 1, they have a blue shirt and some blue glasses. At milestone 2, he now has an orange shirt and an orange/black hat. At milestone 3, they now have a black outfit and 2 cool swords on their back. Finally, at milestone 4, they now have a red crown on their head, some red sunglasses, and yet again 2 cool swords. Unfortunately, the skin doesn't have any kind of custom abilities or effects, but I think the design is pretty clean, so I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. A decent but not crazy start. For our next survivor, we have Shaleski. At milestone 1, they have some kind of chicken on their head and a shirt that says I heart fried chicken. At milestone 2, he now has a shirt that says Silicon Valley, a pirate hat with a feather, and the chicken is now on his shoulder. At milestone 3, they now have a royal red outfit with a brown crown, and the pirate hat is now at his waist. And finally, at milestone 4, they're now wearing the bottom half of a white Dominus, a messy white and blue shirt, and they have a cool white cape. On top of that, they now have a custom sword when using slash, being a neon pink color. I definitely think this is an improvement from the last milestone, mainly because of the custom ability. Honestly, I think I like the design of milestone 3 even more than milestone 4, but they both look good. I'm gonna give this a pretty good 8.2 out of 10. For our next survivor, we have our favorite pizza boy, Elliot. At milestone 1, he has some star-shaped sunglasses, a red shirt with mini pizzas, and a spiky wristband. At milestone 2, they now have a cool belt with some stars on it and a fiery design on their pants. At milestone 3, they now have a spiky wristband on each hand, and he also has custom pizzas, being these cool neon yellow stars. And finally, at milestone 4, they now have this cool neon yellow Valkyrie on their head, which actually leaves a trail behind them as they walk. And on their back, they have this cool spinning star. This skin is awesome, having a ton of custom details like the trail, the pizza, and that star on their back, and an overall clean design. It's one of my personal favorite milestones, so I'm gonna put this as a 9 out of 10, with my only complaint being that it's still pretty similar to the default Elliot. For our next survivor, we have the Builderman. At milestone 1, they have a gray hoodie with a blue and yellow construction hat. At milestone 2, they have the same hoodie, but now have a tool belt and an orange construction hat with some black sunglasses. At milestone 3, they now have a gray vest and an orange shirt, a black and yellow construction hat, and an American flag at their waist. And finally, at milestone 4, they now have a hammer in their hand, a black hoodie, and a black and golden construction hat with 2 horns sticking out of it. Unfortunately, this skin does not have any custom sentries or dispenser, which is a very big shame. I think his design is decent, and holding out the hammer is cool, but not having anything custom is quite a shame. So I'm gonna give it a 7.3 out of 10. For our next survivor, we have 007. At milestone 1, they have these stupid looking pink glasses and a picture of a cat on their shirt. At milestone 2, they now have a blue and white shirt with a yellow tie. At milestone 3, they now have a red tie with black shirt and a bit of a scraggly beard. And at milestone 4, they now have a red and black jacket. The head at the top of their burger is now red, and they have some demon horns coming out of their face. They also have a custom animation when using cool UI, which I think is pretty neat. But while the custom teleportation is cool, I honestly think this skin is mad ugly. With that goatee, he's looking like he's a professional Discord mod. So unfortunately, I'm gonna give this one a 5.5. Sorry to all my 007 fans. For our next survivor, we have the potential man himself, Guest. At milestone 1, he has a military outfit with some extra accessories strapped to it. At milestone 2, he now has a black military outfit with a couple badges and a cool hat. At milestone 3, they get a lot drippier, now having some golden shoulder pads and an awesome looking black cape. On top of that, they also have a custom blocking animation and a custom animation when performing a parry, where they kick the hell out of the killer. And finally, at milestone 4, they now have a black and golden outfit with an even sicker cape that slightly goes over its shoulder. This skin is incredible. It's supposed to show what would happen if the Guest continued climbing in the ranks of the army, and he just looks fantastic. I mean, that gold and black drip, along with the awesome cape and the custom animations, is just perfect. In my opinion, this is our first 10 out of 10 milestone skin, and I don't think that's a crazy take. For next survivor, we have Taff. At milestone 1, they have a very similar design as usual, except the usual yellow detailing is now reddish copper. They also have a custom bomb with this black metallic outline and an electric purple orb in the middle. At milestone 2, the copper design is less red, and they have some rough fabric spikes sticking out of their shoulder and some hazard signs on their legs. They also have a custom bomb with a yellow and black hazard design and a blue electric orb in the middle. This bomb has a blue electric explosion. At milestone 3, they now have a blue and black design with an elegant cape that kind of reminds me of a peacock. They also have a custom bomb having a bit of an icicle theme. This has a bright white bluish explosion. And finally, at milestone 4, they now have a purple and black design with one glowing purple eye, and on their back, they have a large cape with an ominous eye in the middle and 2 floating ribbons coming out of its shoulders. They have a custom bomb with a pink diamond mesh outside and a whitish purple orb in the middle. This has a custom purple explosion with an additional fiery effect. Back to back with the Guest, this is another fantastic milestone skin. Considering how long we wait for them, they definitely cooked. Each each one of the milestones feel really cool in their own sense, especially milestone 3 and milestone 4. And of course, I love the fact that each level has a custom bomb and their own explosion. Really well made, and another easy 10 out of 10. For our next survivor, we have Dusakar. At milestone 1, they have a gray wizard's robe and a white shirt. At milestone 2, they have some layers of blue clothing, adding a bit of detail. At milestone 3, they're now wearing some light armor, and they have 2 ghostly yellow horns. Finally, at milestone 4, they now have a knight costume, with their staff being replaced with a really cool looking sword, and their horns are now yellow and red. Unfortunately, it does not have any custom plasma beam or shield, but I still think it's pretty solid. I really like the sword at max level, but the skin overall doesn't seem as high quality as the other milestone skins, with most of its clothing just being a 2D texture. But the sword is cool enough for me to put it as a 7.8 out of 10. For our next survivor, we have one that just got recently added, Veronica. At milestone 1, they have some messy clothes on, a crumply hat, their antennas are a bit bent, and the screen is cracked. At milestone 2, they have kind of pirate-esque clothing with an eye patch over one of their eyes. At milestone 3, they now have a punk rock style with some headphones with metal spikes sticking out of them and some really cool clothing. And at milestone 4, they now have a purple hoodie covered in various neon graffiti, having overall kind of a futuristic cyberpunk vibe. And while it is a bit hard to tell, I think they might have a custom skateboard, but I'm not 100% sure. I absolutely love the design of every single one of these milestones. They're high quality and definitely fit into the theme of a skater, and just the level of detail on milestone 4 is crazy. So even though they don't have a bunch of crazy custom things, this is getting a solid 9.5 out of 10. For our next survivor, we have Two Time. At milestone 1, they have some straps on their arms and a belt, and in Second Life, their skin gets a stone texture and they sprout some wings. At milestone 2, they now have a coat and a scarf, and this is how they look in their Second Life. At milestone 3, they now have a nice thick robe, and this is how they look in their Second Life. Finally, at milestone 4, they now have this cute wizard hat, and they look like this in their Second Life. This skin doesn't have any kind of custom animations, but I think it's a nice simple design. I think this gets a nice 8 out of 10. Well, this isn't technically a milestone skin. Nightshade is a 2-time skin you get at level 100, so I might as well show it. It has this cool flowery design, and it has these branches coming out of its back. Overall, I'm gonna give this an 8.5. Now, for our final survivor, we have Chance. At milestone 1, he has a red and white tuxedo with a red diamond on his chest. He also has a sparkly red fedora and some star-shaped red sunglasses. At milestone 2, he now has some white cuffs. He also has a custom coin flip with a red and white design. At milestone 3, he now has a red collared shirt, and now he has a custom gun with a red diamond design, and he now has a custom coin flipping animation, which I think is sick. And finally, at max level, the red diamond is now neon and has some black electricity coming out of it. This is another fantastic milestone skin with a really nice clean design and completely customized abilities with different models and animation. I don't think they could change anything about it. It's an easy 10 out of 10. That's a great way to end off the survivors. And with that said, we're now going to be moving on to the killer milestones. So our first killer is the Slasher. At milestone 1, he has some bacon hair sticking out of his head and a raggedy brown outfit. At milestone 2, they no longer have the bacon hair and now have a black fabric outfit, and one of their eyes has blood coming out of it. At milestone 3, they now have a half metal mask and some chains wrapped around them, along with this cool blue effect coming out of them. On top of that, they now also have a unique chase theme. Very cool. On top of that, they also have a custom animation when killing you, just beating the shit out of you. On their back, their chainsaw is also replaced with some kind of sickle. And finally, at milestone 4, they now have this awesome looking fiery design with flames coming out of its head, an evil trident on their back, they're wielding Crescendo the Soul Stealer, and they have a lava book on their shoulder. These milestones are an absolute classic, and have been some of my favorites since I started playing the game. Well, sure, they did get reworked a bit, but the general idea is the same. I think they do a great job of playing into his design, so I'm gonna start this off with another 10 out of 10. Do be warned, there's probably gonna be a couple 10 out of 10s, since a lot of the reworked milestones look incredible. With that said, our next killer is Cool Kid. At milestone 1, they have a slightly darker red skin tone and 2 red horns. At milestone 2, they now have these red glitchy particles around them and a cape on their back. At milestone 3, they now have a much darker appearance, 2 neon wristbands on their arms, and some corrupted particles forming wings on their back. They also now have a different idle animation, standing very ominously. Finally, at milestone 4, they now have 2 glowing white eyes, a hood over their head, much larger horns, and a lot more corruption going on, with even bigger, more intimidating looking wings. There's also a ton of other custom things involving the skin. They have a custom kill animation where they throw you away and then set you on fire, and they also have a custom kill animation when killing 007, giving them a nice hug before burning them to death. This is how they look when using Corrupt Nature. This is how they look when using Walk Speed Override. This is how they look when summoning minions. This is how they look when punching. And this is how they look when walking and running around, looking a lot less human. And at milestone 4, they have a variety of custom voice lines.
Bones are breaking, Martina. Don't give me my kiss. So round and around this plane I prowl for thrills that make you sick.
skin is absolutely incredible. The design is so awesome. Pretty much everything about it is custom. I don't think it can get any better than this. I have to give this an 11 out of 10. It doesn't make sense, but that's just how I feel. For our next killer, we have my boy John Doe. At milestone 1, he has a professor outfit with some glasses and a big bloody gash on their face, along with the usual corrupted arms. At milestone 2, they now have a brown Roblox shirt, and their right arm now has some red corruption coming through it, and their face is looking a lot worse. At milestone 3, their face has been completely corrupted, having this really cool censoring effect over it, and the rest of their body is just a lot more spikier, with some eyes now appearing in their spike arm. They also have some custom spikes, looking like stone spikes covered in some kind of red curse. He also has a crazy kill animation, chucking you in the air before slamming you into the ground. And finally, at max level, the corruption has completely taken over their body, with their face being completely dark. An evil heart symbol is visible on their chest, pumping out corruption across their body, and the eyes on the spike are now very visible. When using corrupt energy, the spikes now have big creepy blinking eyes, which is just absolutely terrifying. They also have custom animations, with it being clear that the corruption has made it a lot more difficult to walk around and run. And of course, they have a custom chase theme. They took the best default killer theme in the game and added an electric guitar to it. It's so good. This is so much better than the previous milestone skins. I already quite like the full black design, but this is just so much more interesting to look at. The design is just genuinely phenomenal. He looks so cool at max level. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I think this looks better than the Cool Kid skin, and I gave the Cool Kid skin an 11 out of 10. So is this a 12 out of 10? I don't know. This is my video, so yeah, 12 out of 10, I guess. It's a really good skin. For our next killer, we have 1X. At milestone 1, he has almost kind of a cartoony design with a black outline across his body and a bit more of a solid neon color compared to his regular design. He's also got a green crown and some bronze armor. At milestone 2, a lot of things have changed, with him now having a mix between a pirate hat and a domino, and an overall pirate theme with these cool bubble effects inside their body. At milestone 3, they become incredibly glitchy, being a colorful combination of purple, blue, and green. They also have this cool torn up pink cape. On top of that, they have a ton of custom animations. This is how they look using mass infection. This is how they look using entanglement, this is how they look using unstable eye, and this is how they look using their basic melee attack. They also have a custom kill animation where one of their minions comes out the ground and holds you in place. This is so good. They also have a custom animation when killing Shadleski, absolutely going ham with the fists. They also have a custom minion, which is pretty cool. And on top of all of this, they have a custom chase theme. Pretty rad. And finally, at max level, they now have a really spiky, glitchy, cool design, with the primary colors being a yellowish green and a pinkish purple. They also now have an even larger cape. These are so much better than the previous 1X milestones. 1X used to have arguably the worst milestones in the game, hardly changing them at all, and now they look fantastic. Every single one of these milestones is great. I love the pirate one, I love milestone 3, and I love milestone 4. My only complaint is that he kind of looks like a dragon fruit at max level, so because of that, I'm gonna rank this a 9 out of 10. Don't get me wrong though, I think it looks amazing. Now, that leaves us with our final killer, also being the newest one, Guess 666. At milestone 1, he has this kind of weird looking face and some fabric surrounding his body, also covering his back. At milestone 2, he loses the fabric and now has a different face with one eye and a weird mouth. At milestone 3, he now looks a lot more corrupted and evil, having a jagged and sharp smile and some demonic wings on their back. Also, on top of their head, they have a dark black evil skull. Finally, at max level, everything gets turned up to 100 with a ton of red particle effects, a second pair of horns on the skull, and their wings are now even bigger. Well, the first couple of milestones aren't that interesting. Milestone 4 looks incredible, playing into the theme of him being demonic and beast-like, and I just love the skull and the wings and just everything that's going on. Unfortunately, it doesn't have any custom animations, so I can't rank it too high, but in terms of appearance, I think it's great. Overall, 8.7 out of 10. And with that, that's it for this video. Let me know in the comments below which one of these milestones is your favorite and whether or not you agree with my rankings. And if you did enjoy, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe and check out my Discord. I'll most likely be active there after this video is posted. With that said, I'll see you guys in the next video.